Welcome to the realm of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Enjoy listening. Victor Hopkins was a soldier who had served in the depths of space, representing Earth in the Galactic Union's newly established colony. This colony was created to facilitate cooperation and peaceful coexistence among various species. Victor's duty was primarily diplomatic, ensuring that relations between humans and other species remained stable. It was on this colony that he crossed paths with Lyra, a graceful alien woman with violet skin. Lyra was a representative of her own people, and their initial encounter was filled with mutual suspicion. However, over time, their professional relationship evolved into something deeper, and their love defied all impossibilities to bloom. Their love story did not go unnoticed in the colony. Many whispered about their relationship, some disapproving, but Victor and Lyra remained steadfast. They built a life together, eventually having 2 children who inherited unique biological traits from both parents. These children were a blend of human and alien DNA, a living testament to their union. But happiness was fleeting. Political tensions within the colony grew as humans were increasingly viewed as a potential threat. Earth's military presence was a contentious topic, and soon, things escalated beyond control. One fateful day, Victor and the other human soldiers were forcibly expelled from the colony. He had no chance to say goodbye to Lyra and their children. In the blink of an eye, he was sent back to Earth. Victor's return to Earth was anything but welcoming. Having an alien wife and hybrid children only made his situation more complicated. He tried every possible means to reunite with his family, but diplomatic obstacles and the vast distance across space thwarted all his efforts. Lyra and the children heard nothing from him again. Years passed. Lyra endured immense grief in Victor's absence. Life in the colony became difficult for her and the children, neither fully accepted by humans nor by her own people. Determined to protect them, she withdrew into isolation. Yet, deep down, she never lost hope. One day, she discovered that Victor was still alive and living on Earth. This revelation ignited a spark within her. Gathering all her courage, Lyra set out to find a way to Earth. Breaking through the colony's strict security protocols and securing passage for herself and her children was a monumental challenge. With the help of a few old friends, she managed to steal a small spacecraft. The journey was perilous, traversing the vast, cold emptiness of space while ensuring her children's safety. But she pressed on. Finally, they arrived on Earth. However, Earth was not the welcoming place Lyra had envisioned. Her alien features attracted unwanted attention, and hostile groups viewed her with suspicion. Struggling to find shelter for her children in the freezing winter, she persevered. Driven by her unwavering determination, she searched tirelessly, moving from city to city until, with the aid of an old comrade of Victor's, she finally found a lead. Victor was in shock when he saw them again. He had long given up hope of ever reuniting with his family. Standing before him in the snow-covered forest was Lyra with their children. Her face bore the marks of exhaustion and struggle, but her eyes still held a glimmer of hope. The children gazed at him with a mix of curiosity and hesitation. Victor, clad in his military armor, knelt down, hesitating before reaching out to them. Tears welled up in Victor's eyes as he spoke with a trembling voice. "Lyra, I tried everything to find you, but I failed. Can you ever forgive me?" Lyra's gaze was heavy with the weight of past pain. Clutching their children tightly, she replied, "For years, Victor, we heard nothing from you, not even a single word. Our children barely remember their father. Do you think that's something I can forgive?" Her voice quivered, yet remained firm. Victor's heart sank deeper into guilt. Tears rolled down his cheeks. "I know you're right, but I swear I did everything I could. Losing you was like dying every day for me." He turned his eyes to the children and took a deep breath. "But I'm here now. I won't leave you again. I'm done with the military, Lyra. I don't want to fight anymore. Let's go somewhere far away. Just us." Lyra studied his face, searching for sincerity. "Can you really do that, Victor?" Leave everything behind? She asked cautiously. Yes, if you're with me, I can leave it all behind, he assured her. Lyra exhaled slowly, and a faint, weary smile crossed her lips. Then let's try again, Victor. Together, Victor grasped her hands, feeling their warmth. As he embraced his children, the years of separation melted away in that moment. The family had found each other once more. Weeks later, Victor severed all ties with the military. He and Lyra moved to a remote, quiet place far from the chaos of the world. Nestled among mountains and forests, they built a home where they could live in peace. Victor left behind the life of a soldier and devoted himself to his family. Lyra gradually began to trust him again, and their children thrived in the serenity of nature. Their new home, a modest yet sturdy cabin tucked deep within the forest, became their sanctuary. Tall pine trees surrounded the property, and a crystal-clear river flowed nearby, providing them with fresh water and a sense of tranquility. Victor spent his days repairing and expanding their home, ensuring it was safe and comfortable for his family. He built a greenhouse where Lyra could cultivate plants from her homeworld, a small gesture that helped her feel more connected to the life she had left behind. Each morning, Victor would wake early, chopping firewood and preparing breakfast before the children stirred. He found solace in the simplicity of their new life, no orders to follow, no battles to fight, just the quiet hum of nature and the laughter of his children. Lyra, though still carrying the scars of their separation, slowly began to see the man she had once fallen in love with emerge from behind the armor of regret and sorrow. The children, named Aria and Kale, were unlike any others. With their vibrant violet skin and inquisitive golden eyes, they embodied the union of two vastly different worlds. Aria, the elder of the two, displayed a quiet intelligence, often observing the world around her with a thoughtful gaze. Kale, on the other hand, was full of boundless energy, exploring the wilderness with an insatiable curiosity that sometimes led him into trouble. Despite their peaceful existence, challenges arose. Lyra found it difficult to adjust to the ways of Earth, the atmosphere, and the solitude of their chosen life. There were moments when she longed for the familiarity of her people, the vibrant cities of her homeworld, and the constant hum of advanced technology. Victor, sensing her struggles, did his best to bridge the gap. He would tell her stories of Earth's history and traditions, and in return she would share tales of her ancestors and the celestial wonders they had once gazed upon. The seasons changed, bringing new experiences for the family. In the winter, they would huddle by the fireplace, Victor recounting his adventures in the stars while Lyra sang lullabies in her native tongue. In the spring, the children would chase butterflies through the meadows, their laughter echoing through the valley. Summer brought lazy days by the river, and in the autumn, they would gather fallen leaves to weave into intricate patterns inspired by Lyra's culture. Victor found immense joy in fatherhood. He taught Aria how to fish and showed Kale how to track animals through the forest. At night, they would gaze at the stars, and Victor would tell them stories of the constellations, blending human mythology with the celestial legends Lyra had passed down to him. For the first time in years, he felt whole, but the outside world was never too far away. Occasionally, Victor would travel to the nearest town to gather supplies. He was cautious, keeping a low profile, but he couldn't ignore the wary glances and hushed whispers that followed him. The presence of an alien family, no matter how secluded, was bound to stir curiosity and suspicion. He remained vigilant, ensuring that their home remained a safe haven. Lyra, though wary of humans, began to trust Victor's instincts. She ventured into town with him once, wrapped in a thick cloak to conceal her features. The experience was overwhelming, but Victor's steady presence reassured her. Over time, she even found solace in the kindness of a few locals who, though hesitant at first, came to accept her quiet presence with curiosity rather than fear. Years passed, and the family found their rhythm. The once gaping wounds of their separation had healed into scars that spoke of resilience and unwavering love. Lyra and Victor, though shaped by their hardships, stood stronger together. Their children grew, blending the best of both their worlds, and their love became the foundation upon which their new life flourished. One crisp autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lyra and Victor stood on the porch of their home, watching their children play in the golden light. Lyra leaned into Victor's embrace, her head resting against his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. "I never thought we'd find this," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper as she gazed out at the snow-covered forest beyond their small cabin. The children were inside, curled up by the fire, their soft laughter drifting through the wooden walls. Victor stood beside her on the porch, his breath visible in the crisp night air. He looked at Lyra, the soft glow of the moon highlighting the delicate features of her face, the same face he had longed to see for years. "You deserve this," Victor said, his voice thick with emotion. "Peace, security. I should have given it to you a long time ago." Lyra turned to him, searching his face, her violet eyes filled with a mixture of love and lingering doubt. "And yet it took us so long to get here," she replied, her tone laced with the weight of their shared past. "I spent years fighting for this, wondering if you ever did the same." Victor lowered his gaze, shame flickering across his features. "I did," he admitted, "but I was trapped, Lyra. By duty, by guilt, by fear. I didn't know how to fight the system that kept us apart." He reached for her hands, their warmth a stark contrast to the icy air around them. "But I'm here now, and I'll never leave again." A long silence stretched between them, broken only by the distant howl of the wind. Lyra studied him, and for the first time in years, she saw not the soldier, but the man beneath. A man who had suffered as much as she had, who had lost as much as she did. Slowly she nodded. "I want to believe that," she said, squeezing his hand, "for the children's sake." "For ours?" Victor smiled, a small, tentative thing. "Then let's build something new. Together." And so they did. The days that followed were filled with the quiet rhythm of a life they had both yearned for. Victor learned to chop wood for the fire, his once battle-hardened hands growing accustomed to the simpler tasks of life. Lyra, in turn, tended to the small greenhouse they had built behind the cabin, her alien touch bringing life to the plants even in the harshest winter months. Their children, a blend of two worlds, thrived in their new home. They explored the forests, their laughter echoing through the trees, and Victor marveled at how effortlessly they adapted. Lyra watched them with a mixture of pride and sorrow, wondering if they would ever truly belong to either world. One evening, as the snow fell in thick, silent waves outside their cabin, Victor sat by the fire, watching Lyra brush their daughter's long, silvery hair. The sight filled him with a profound sense of contentment. "We're going to be okay, aren't we?" he asked quietly. Lyra looked up, her expression softer than before. "Yes, I think we are," she said, "but only if we stop looking back." Victor nodded, reaching out to take her hand once more. "No more looking back," he promised, "only forward." And so, with time, the wounds of the past began to heal. The whispers of doubt grew quieter, replaced by the steady hum of a life rebuilt. They found solace in each other, in their children, in the quiet moments that made up their days. Years later, as Victor stood outside their cabin, watching the sunrise paint the sky in shades of gold and violet, he realized something profound. He had finally come home. Lyra joined him, their hands intertwined, and together they watched their children chase the morning light. No longer torn between worlds, no longer haunted by what was lost. For the first time in a long time, they were truly at peace,